Department of Housing and Urban Development are still citing the use of decongregate settings such as hotels in their COVID guidance for homeless service providers all across this country. The homeless are among the least vaccinated, and we know that this pandemic is waging itself against the unvaccinated. I want to take a second to thank Lou. I'm sure you are all very unfamiliar with Lou. Thank you, Lou, for your commitment to calling out the suffering that you witness. You may hear many of Lou's criticisms about the homeless system, but if you are out on the streets with Lou, you watch Lou respond with empathetic outrage at the lack of dignity that people who are homeless are often denied. At a protest on Friday, Lou started and ended a speech with the concept of dignity, and I've been thinking a lot about that. What I've learned over the last 6 days in NEOC's effort to support the 51 men who stayed behind at that hotel is that there is no power on earth that can destroy the thirst for human dignity, and human dignity is derived from a sense of independence. As our street outreach worker Dennis likes to put it, the men who stayed behind at the hotel have been spent. They were sleeping outside amidst a global pandemic, or they stayed at 2100 but got shuffled from place to place as they were just trying to stay safe and grasp for stability. Some of the 50 men who stayed behind are disabled. Some are deaf, some are working full-time, many have walkers or wheelchairs. They were just people waiting for a few more days or weeks on their housing voucher. All of them deserved more time and support. Now those men must face what's next. Where will I sleep tonight? Will the Delta variant be an issue inside a building that shelters hundreds of men? How will I track the birth certificate or social security card I've been waiting on for my housing application if I have to go back to a large congregate shelter? The reality of all of this is that there are people that are going to sleep outside tonight, and there will be even more people in already congregate shelters after this. But the other reality behind this and behind the 50 men staying here is that we all have to go to bed tonight knowing that there are 50 men who are sleeping out on the streets when there is an empty hotel 12 miles down the street for no loving reason. Thank you.
Joe Gaston.
You want me to keep my mask on?
Yes, sir.
My name is Joe Gaston. I'm a former homeless person. I was homeless here in Cleveland for 5 straight years. I can somewhat empathize with what the homeless are going through. I've been listening to people speak here, and I've been reading the newspapers. Let me first say, I've never met Mayor Kurtz. I've never met Armin Budish. I want to reserve an opinion. I'm not going to say anything bad about them because I'm just going by what I've been hearing. But there's a bigger story here that's not in the papers. There's a bigger story here that hasn't been discussed. No one wants to talk about how the men got out here to Ramada Inn. Most of the men that went to the Ramada Inn, first of all, they were African American, okay? And what happened is they were at this hotel in Lakewood called the Days Inn. And Lutheran Metropolitan Ministries, who has a contract with the county, they came up with a program to where they wanted to turn the Days Inn into a LGBTQ hotel and a female, combined. Okay, what they did was they played up to the racism of people in Lakewood. They were getting tired of all these African Americans in their neighborhood, coming in their stores, going to their businesses, walking down the street. So they played up to them, and they played one party against the other. And the decision was made to send the African-American men out to Independence, Ohio. That is what happened. That's what nobody wants to talk about. So in effect, this was a form of racism. It was a form of blockbusting, things that were outlawed 40, 50 years ago in the United States of America. But like I said, they played one group against the other. They elevated the LGBTQ and the women, but they did it at the detriment of the African-American men. Okay, it was much more, I think it was 100 and something men that they moved out there. If you check the history of this, no females were moved to Independence, Ohio. It was all males. This is discrimination. This is not the first time that this has happened. It's just that people don't want to talk about it. This has happened before several times in history. I mentioned some names to you of people whose society felt was obsolete. And they sent them to places called Buchenwald, places called Bergen-Belsen, and America's favorite, Auschwitz. Okay, this is what they do to the undesirables. And this is what happened in this situation. You know, it is moved from the Jewish people to the African American people. Whenever they want to step on somebody, put somebody down, move somebody out, it falls on the African Americans. I don't know if anybody has noticed this, but I am an African American. Okay, I guess that sound means my time is up. So again, I'm gonna respect the time limits, but there's a bigger story here than what the media's been talking about, and a bigger story than what I've heard people talking about. This is a story about racism. Thank you very much.
Ronald Freeman.
Hello, my name is Ronald Freeman, and I'm one of these homeless people. You know, I read somewhere that a nation will not be judged great by the way it treats its rich and powerful. It will be judged great by the way it treats its poor and downtrodden. The homelessness is a problem, or it's a problem that it seems like, it's like, you know, no one knows what to do with it. I tell you what, why don't y'all let me help? Give me a chance to help and stuff. I have a very keen intelligence and I have a lot of vision. Let us help ourselves and stuff. Give us a chance. If you can't do it, let us do it. You know, just stand behind us and stuff, because this whole community, this reflects on this whole community, what's going on with us and stuff. People watching this and people see this, and you don't know what people think about the things that they watch and see, because it seems like we just being thrown out like trash. Why don't we prove to people that that's not the case, that that's not the issue? Let us help. That's all we asking. I'll do our work. You can put me to work and stuff. I'll do what I can. I'll help and stuff. And I might not have a degree in college, but it don't take a degree to be intelligent. And just let me work, or let us work, let us do something, because we need to do something about this problem, because it's greater than what you think it is, and it goes deeper than what you think it is. Thank you very much.
Antoinette Tolbert.
Hello, how y'all doing today? Peace, peace. Can you hear me, Miss Brown? What's going on? My name is Antoinette Tolbert. I'm the president of New Era Cleveland. So we are a pro-black community-based organization here in the city of Cleveland. I've been doing some work with Molly Martin. So I've been getting educated in this particular aspect of life in recent months. And I've come to the conclusion that us here, most of us middle-class working citizens, are one missed paycheck away from being in the same situation that these men are facing in Independence. And I believe that we have a moral obligation as leaders, especially those that are privileged to have these seats that come with power. There's a moral obligation to do for all people, especially when we take a step back and look at a society that the majority are drowning, the majority are suffering, the majority feel unheard. And to those that are here, that are asking for power, that are asking for respect, that are asking to be heard, patronizing this system is a choice. And when this system is not working for the many of us, we have an option to create something different. And I want leadership to keep that in mind, that when people show up here and are asking to be heard, it's because they feel like nobody's listening. You know, if we have millions of people throughout this entire country that are going to be sleeping outside tonight that don't know where their next meal is coming from. And I want to let leadership know that when we go home at night and lay our heads down, you know, job titles aside, accolades aside, we're human beings. And we are going to be judged for the things that we do while we're here on this earth. We all have the failure of accountability here in this city means nothing compared to the accountability that we're going to face when we meet that person that has created all of this. So I want us to all keep that in mind as we continue to move and navigate throughout this world. You know, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I'm sorry, when coming up to the mic, if you could speak into the mic and speak clearly, that would be greatly appreciated. Daniel Spencer.
I'm Dan Spencer. I'm here to talk about what's going on out in Independence. If you can give me a minute to pull this up here.
Can you speak a little bit clearly into the mic?
Is this better?
Yes, please.
All right. My name doesn't matter. In this conversation, the organizations that I work with do not matter. What my ideology, religious beliefs, and political affiliations, none of these things matter. What matters is how we treat our fellow man. This is not a matter of fiscal policy or handouts. This is a conversation about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And we are denying these things to the men that we guaranteed them to. Right now, today, there are few of these men left at the hotel, and they are trying to maintain the simplest kind of dignity. The stability of knowing the elements will not cause them harm, the ability to maintain hygiene and a personal level of care, the ability to maintain, privacy from the outside world, a barrier from threats and violence, the destruction to have the small amounts of personal property that they have being destroyed, protection from a virus that is ravaging the places that we would send them to. These men are not unlike you and I. 6 bad months is all it takes for any of us to end up in the same exact situation that they are in. It could be your mother, your father, brother, sister, your daughter, my son. It could happen to any of us. Yeah. All of us are vulnerable to have nowhere to go to rest our head. I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that if my loved ones, friends, coworkers, neighbors, if someone was in need of a roof, that I could provide such, I would. That if I was able to and did not, that I would be responsible for when the worst happens to them. We are able to house these few friends. Not doing so puts their fates in our hands, and if you do not get that, that blood will not wash away. That will stain you forever. Sending people out of a safe and welcoming environment to fend for themselves against all the odds when they have nowhere safe to go is not a policy. It is an act of violence. It is a declaration that their humanity does not matter to you. We have a chance to do better today. We can change how we view these people, that instead of an unsightly problem that needs to be dealt with, as humans just as deserving of basic level of care that we feel that we deserve ourselves. If we are not willing to treat the most vulnerable amongst us with the same dignity that we as our own family, then how can we expect society to treat us any better?
Kim Goodman. Kim Goodman.
Hello, I'm Kim Goodman, and I just want to talk about the Independence situation. People want to act as if racism and injustice don't exist, but it does. The city of Independence, residents mostly white, the mayor white, all the council people white. Most kids are from 2-parent homes. Then you have the Ramada Inn, a hotel that was struggling due to a lack of tourists. They opened their doors to Cleveland's homeless population. The city of Independence had an issue with it. Why? Because the guest of the Ramada was homeless. They assumed the homeless men were bad people. Some viewed them like they were hardened criminals, believing that these men would be a threat to their perfect white city. The guys that the guys that they were fearful of, some were elderly, some was disabled. For the most part, they are nice people who are just struggling in life right now. Some are waiting on disability benefits. Some are looking for jobs that are willing to work around their disabilities or limitations. Some of them actually have jobs, but they work low-wage jobs. The businesses and residents of Independence have a better chance of being robbed and carjacked by someone driving through the city via the freeway than from the men at the Ramada. Aman Budish, who lives in the city of Beechwood, catered to the mayor of Independence. It is one thing to ask the men to leave, but it's a bigger issue. The bigger issue of this is not providing an alternative for the homeless man. They should have been placed somewhere else or given somewhere, that's more safe. These guys, most of them are not regular, able-bodied men who are in good health. Staying at an overcrowded shelter, 2100, puts them at higher risk for catching COVID. What about the hotel owner? What is the city of Independence doing to boost their business? Would things have went different if the hotel owner had been white? Most people who never struggled in life believe if a homeless man gets a job, he won't be homeless no more. Have you ever tried to get a job while being homeless? On the job application, it says, name and address. How do you think they will respond to someone who don't have an address? Have you ever tried to get housing with a low-wage job, bad credit, and no rental history? Just help the guys out.
Kyle Wright.
Good afternoon to all of his chair, Armin British, as well as all of the chamber.
Mr. Wright, can you
Chairs.
speak up a little bit?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
We as the Homeless Congress are deeply angered by this infraction of the homeless citizens. This was a step over of their Eighth Amendment, specifically no cruel and unusual punishment. The preamble to the Constitution was drafted in 1787, states to promote the general welfare. As long as those who suffer impecunious states are mistreated, we, your congressional body, would like to retain advocation. You have our attention. Sadly, we as homeless representatives are all too familiar with this kind of indignified treatment. COVID-19 hit all of us, all the businesses of Ohio, and it's going to take all of us to help each other. This is unfortunately the people that we trusted to serve us ended up betraying us. I do implore that we do more research with this. Like I said, this is just an exercise for us as the Homeless Congress because we are in need of delegates ourselves from the east side as well as the west side. So it's going to take all of us. Thank you.
Andrew Oktovic.
Hello. My name is Andrew Oktovic. I am a Cleveland resident and a frustrated and concerned member of this community. I am here to advocate for the folks staying at the Ramada Inn. The same people that this council, as well as the City of Independence and the Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry, were too cowardly to meet with in person, even as you made a decision to put their lives at risk. In the midst of an ever-worsening pandemic, you are making the decision to force these men out of safe and dignified shelter. To put it plainly, you are killing people. And why? Simply because the City of Independence, a city that is 95% white, is uncomfortable with a group that is 80% black? I see no reason other than this why these people are being removed. The contract has already been signed. The money is going to be spent either way. The owner of the hotel has repeatedly expressed that they are willing to let these men stay. And the county itself has stated in the past that racism is a public health crisis. This is true. It is just as much a public health crisis as COVID. The fact that this council is able to recognize these crises and still makes the choice to perpetuate and exacerbate them shows how little the well-being of these men mean to you. This council does not take the safety of its residents seriously and would rather trample the most vulnerable among us than stand up to any political inconvenience. That said, I don't think the council truly cares about the human cost of this decision. If it did, I don't think this council could sleep at night. Instead of asking this council to show human compassion, I'm simply asking this council to remain indifferent, honor the contract that has already been signed, and allow these men to stay till the end of August as was initially promised. Thank you.
Derek Brown. Derek Brown. Peter Murrow.
Hi, my name is Peter Murrow. I'm one of the homeless people from the Ramada Inn. Like most of us was saying that LMM signed a contract to last us until August 31st. But when we found out that we had to leave, LMM never told us. They just left, and we found out by ourselves. And that was kind of wrong, because they should have told us instead of just letting us find out for ourselves. And before I went I was at 2100 before I ended up in the hotel. Sorry. My sister was worried sick about me because I didn't have a phone to let her know where I was or nothing, because it was hard to get a phone because I was homeless, and if you're homeless, you don't have good credit, and you need good credit and a job to get a phone. I had to wait until someone that was driving around giving out free phones just to be able to call my sister. She was worried sick, so was my brother, because they thought I was dead, but I wasn't. I had to wait until I was able to get a free phone just to let my family know I was safe and okay. My sister was crying, my brother was crying, and then when I called them, they was crying because they finally found out that I was okay. And I just hoped, I was just wondering why LMM didn't let us know themselves that we was leaving. But now me and a friend are in a good place, safe, and that's it. Thank you.
Mike Fiala.
County Council members, thank you for this opportunity to address you. My name is Mike Fiala, and I live on the near west side of Cleveland for the last 40 years. I'm a part of a community called the Catholic Worker that lives in community with unhoused people and also provides services to them. I'm encouraging you to make the needs of the men living at Ramada Inn in the city of Independence your first priority by letting them stay. This is a large crisis in their lives, and clearly this is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your commitment and acknowledge your legislation that racism is a public health crisis. And please stand up to the mayor of Independence and stand on principle and legislation. There's also the crisis of the Delta variant of the coronavirus, which makes safe, secure housing an absolute necessity, and you don't want to put them at risk. Consider, too, that Ramada Inn is empty, vacant housing. And we're going to force these men to choose between 2,100 and a large, overwhelming shelter and going back to the streets. This does not make sense. But let's have a different kind of imagination. How can we break through this kind of being stuck? So why can't the City of Independence welcome these men? Imagine these men remaining at the Ramada Inn, and because they are just a mile away from the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, this incredible park, why don't we go for a walk there? Invite you and myself, who I've been going there for 25 years every Sunday afternoon, and we actually say, hey, this incredible wilderness, this national park is a place where we can actually walk together. And these men who oftentimes don't get that kind of opportunity, in fact, I'm going to offer my car for a ride and would like you to join me, as well as the mayor of Independence, to go for a walk in the national park on a Sunday afternoon. Would you join me? Would you join me?
Sorry, this is your opportunity to speak, but it's not a two-way.
No, I understand. So you can answer that question at the end. And here's what I wrote, so you can contact me if you want.
The clerk can take the paperwork, and she'll see that we all get it.
Thank you. Barry Goldberg.
Hi, my name is Barry. I am a resident of Cuyahoga County. I have been for a while now. I'd like to just open with a few quotes from one of my personal heroes, Mr. Fred Rogers. He said, "Justice is taking care of those who aren't able to take care of themselves." He also said that one of the first things that a child learns in a healthy family is trust. I want us to really focus on those words of justice and trust as we rewind the clock here. Back in 2020, early last year, in response to the COVID pandemic, the decision was made to decongregate what was, let's be honest, already unsafe and inhumane shelters to help protect for the safety of people. Many people were moved into hotels as a way of both protecting our unhoused residents as well as supporting our local businesses that were suffering from the pandemic. We trusted that these deals would be upheld. We trusted that they would be done in a way of justice, and we were told that this would last through August 31st at the earliest. Then, Mayor of Independence, who assumed that office back when I was a preschooler watching the original run of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, a known racist came with the war cry of the coward saying, "Not in my backyard." And he approached Executive Budish saying, "I want these people gone." And did Executive Budish stand up to that? Did he uphold the declaration that racism is a public health crisis? No, he caved. So now the buck is passed to this council, and the buck needs to stop here. I am so tired of having to beg governmental officials not to conspire behind closed doors against the people, but to support businesses and trust and justice. I have here something that has been on my refrigerator for the past year and a half. This is the letter of resignation that my city councilwoman, Donna Brady, sent me after she tried to pull a very similar thing with that same war cry, "Not in my backyard," and tried to shut down a homeless shelter that is not too far from where I live. This is not something that is going to go away. This is not something where the narrative is going to be changed. We are going to be seeing the consequences of any inaction that happens here today constantly. So I ask, before you leave these nice chambers today, I need explicit action from this council today. And if you leave without taking action to solve this crisis, it is a crisis, then please don't come back. And I look forward to having more letters to put on my refrigerator. Thank you.
Paul Sherlock.
Good afternoon, members of the council.
Mr. Sherlock,
Yes,
you need to put your mask on, please.
you have your mask on. An insult.
Thank you.
16 months ago, we were all in this together. There was a lot of uncertainty going on in our community and worldwide. We were wanting to take care of one another, especially those people that were, in close quarters with one another, because there was a great fear that that would be a catalyst to spread the virus. So we decided to decongregate people, if for no other reason but our own self-interest. And here we are, 16 months later. We have a vaccine rollout, and we have pandemic fatigue with a desire to get back to normal. And we want to go back to business as usual, which means putting people back into congregate living while there is still an active pandemic going on, and where many of the people that are in an unsheltered or even a sheltered situation are not vaccinated. So you're putting them at greater risk by putting them back together. You, as county council, are a check on the county executive. And you can stand up to the decision that Executive Budish made to put people back into a risky situation. And I am calling on you to do the right thing and protect the most vulnerable among us by overriding what Budish has said in terms of evacuating people from the Ramada Inn. There's a second point to this that I want to really emphasize. As tragic as the pandemic has been for many, many people, it has also provided us with an opportunity if we're willing to pay attention. 16 months ago, I was on the ground floor of the opening of the Days Inn for those that were unsheltered. I was the first volunteer staff person there. And in that time, I saw many people who were helped because of their stay at the hotel. Because they were treated with respect, because they were treated with dignity, because they had a place to stay where they didn't have to worry about having something stolen or getting beat up.
Mr. Sherlock, your time is up.
I'm almost done.
And sir, your time is
And
up.
because the hotel became a viable option.
Sir, I apologize, but your time is up. Everyone that does get 3 minutes, your time is up.
There's something to be said about people being at a hotel, and I'd like to have that opportunity.
You can have any further conversation. We'll allow you to talk with our chief of staff, and we can get more detail. But your public
You don't
comment
really
time
want to
is up.
learn you don't really want to learn the lesson about people being in a hotel.
Sure.
About people, being treated with that respect and dignity of this is your own place. You have responsibility. You are cared for because we are taking care of you in this hotel. I just, you just want to go back to business as usual. And I really don't understand that.
Thank you, sir.
People
Thank you, sir.
in
Your time is
people
up.
in an industrial
Time is
setting,
up, sir.
people in an industrial setting,
Time is up.
you're not going to change the homeless situation in this community by leaving them in a warehouse in an industrial park.
All right, sir, let's
If you
go.
want to make meaningful change, you treat people with respect.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing?
Ms. Vector, can you speak into the mic louder?
It was kind of high. It was kind of tall. My minutes are going. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I am here. My name is Doris Vector, like she said. I have worked over 30-plus years at the Cuyahoga County here as a eligibility specialist. I retired because I thought it was my time, because I felt the next generation needs to take this baton, and I wanted to keep my health in good health so I can see the world. During that time, like my fellow coworkers that are here and all the fellow coworkers are still working, we did furlough because this is what the agency asked us to do. I left in December. My very last check was reflected on taking the remainder of my money of retiring with the furlough time. I'm asking you, the committee, to find out how many people actually really retired through that time from April into February 2021 to really reimburse us back. It was on the table to reimburse everyone back. Yes, the federal government, they reimbursed us back as an agency. So many small companies got reimbursed back. And at that time, I was a very dedicated employee, just like all my other coworkers here and all the other coworkers who retired. And it would be so fitting and so nice to reimburse us back. So if this committee can please behoove and find themselves to find out how many people there were. And I understand everything's a cost factor. But at that time, we were budgeted into that cost factor to take the money of furlough, which we did. And that cost factor should have also been looked in consideration to give it also back to us. Most of us have called and asked if we could get it back, and I think it was a matter of not being on on payroll, but I'm sure that there could be many ways that we can get reimbursed back. So I'm pleading, talking to get back. I had to just put my car in the shop, cost me $895. I hit a chuck hole, which is in Cleveland proper, Cuyahoga County, as some of you people are, being voted for. So $800, and I'm not even going to get less than $2,000 back. So help us out. We would truly appreciate it. God bless. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Deborah Michelson.
Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Michelson, and I am a lawyer. I'm counsel for the Ramada Hotel owner, and I appreciate your time, although 3 minutes is going to be tough. There is a contract. I don't know what you've read. I don't know what you've heard. There is a contract. The contract runs through August 31st, 2021. We have adhered to the contract. My client has booked the hotel for the entire summer months, the lucrative summer months, and dedicated that entire hotel to Lutherans' population and turned away other business, turned other inquiries, and because he is honoring his contract with Lutheran. We expect and hope that our contracting partner will also honor that contract. Sorry, I just can't breathe a little. And we expect and hope, fairly, I think, that city and county officials will support that, will support private property rights, private contract rights, and not tolerate any kind of interference with that contract. I am here, I am the lawyer for the hotel. I am speaking on him today, but please do not take that I am not appalled and horrified for how human beings are being treated. Others are here to speak to that today, so I'm going to let them do that. I've spoken to that before. I cannot overstate how the hardship, the difficulty, the relentlessness of what has gone on since April 15, 2021, when this contract began. It is tremendously unfair, and my understanding is there is a number of people in Independence, residents there, who are equally unhappy about what is going on. There is no city ordinance, there is no state law, there is no state licensure law that allows cancellation of this contract. I don't know what you've told, I don't know what you've read, but I'm telling you, I have the contract and I have researched the law. I encourage you and I beg you to read the mayor's newsletters, which are proudly available on the city's website, and you may judge for yourselves what the motivation is here and the ugliness of it and the truth of it. I direct you to April 15, April 30, May 7, May 15, possibly June 8. I don't know whether Lutheran is going to honor its contract, its obligations on the contract. I don't know, but there are rumblings that they're not, and you can only imagine the ripple effects that this has on the community, the human beings, but also the owners, the business owners, the people who work there, the staff, the people who live there, and taxes, and gee whiz. We're trying to stop homelessness from getting bigger, not put more people out of work because a hotel sits there not being used.
Thank you.
I agree. I'm going to leave my card. If any of you are
The clerk will take
interested
your card.
in learning more about it, I have loads more information for you, and I do thank you for your attention and time. Thank you so much.
I apologize in advance. It's hard to make this out. Is it Willie Robinson? Willie or William Robinson? Okay. Ben Hull?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council, and good evening and thank you to everybody behind me who came to speak on behalf of the men dealing with this thing at the Ramada and Independence. When NEOC put out the call last week for people to show up last Thursday and help support the men who decided to stay, I came. I had never met any of them. I hadn't had a single conversation with any of them. I've been doing a lot of that over the last 6 or 7 days. And it's been really eye-opening and really awe-inspiring because I know it's easy to forget when we're talking about numbers, but these are human beings. These are men who have led full lives and who have parents and sisters and brothers and children who live around here or may not live around here and may not have the safety nets to fall on like we do and have fallen on hard times. I think it's really easy to forget that homeless might be what they are right now, but homeless is not who they are, and it doesn't define them, and it's not how they see themselves when they think about their place in the world, so why is it fair that we would do that to them? I think Deborah Michelson just took all the talking points I was going to make about how there is no legal standing for the mayor to have gone to County Executive Armand Budish and requested that these men, I put that in air quotes, that these men be evicted from the Ramada. In fact, one of the weekly newsletters that he published pretty soon after he had gotten his way and Armand Budish had told LMM that they needed to leave the Ramada, in one of those weekly newsletters that she just mentioned, Mayor Kurtz said, quote, "The city of Independence did not evict the homeless men at the Ramada. The Lutheran Metropolitan Ministries organization made this decision independent of the city, and only they can explain the reasons behind the action." That's provably false. That's a straight up lie, as proven by reporting from Cleveland.com and Cleveland Scene, who have spoken to all the players in this. And I think it's really sad that we are willing to let these men go back on the street. I was there on Thursday and there was a shuttle. They said at 2 p.m. there will be a shuttle. It can take you back to 2100, or you can, I don't know, figure it out, go do something else. I think it's pretty sick, and it really got me fired up. And I didn't prepare any note cards today, so I think that's my last point. Oh, the last thing I wanted to say, I was on my drive in here today. I just heard on the news that Ohio just recorded a daily case count of over 700, higher than the 3-week average of the state. COVID is not going away. It's not going away for those of us who are vaccinated, and it's certainly not going away for those of us who are the most disenfranchised and the most at risk in our communities. Thank you for your time.
Anthony Hall.
Good evening. I'm Anthony Hall. I want to advocate for people who went through 21, dealt with 21 and homelessness.
Mr. Hall, can you speak a little louder, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
I went through 21. I was homeless several years, off and on, until I went to 21. In the emergency shelter part, they got several different communities inside 21. All of it is part through a reentry program to come back out in society. That program worked. That program is what's needed at 21. You need individuals like yourselves or other people to go down there and make sure that stay in place. With that being said, I left 21 during the pandemic, and I went to a hotel called the University Inn. That hotel helped me make my decision to stay forward on what I wanted to do. Stay clean from drugs, stay out of the bad places in the city, and I did. Now I reside at Harper's Point, over there on the west side, and a lot of other these guys could do the same thing if they have a place to go through and go get out and go have another place before they get an apartment. It's like a staging area, the hotels that they put us in. And that was a good thing for me. I'm here to say that. I just did. Thank you.
Marilyn Pena.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, I'm Marilyn Pena, and I was employed with Cuyahoga County for 30 plus years, and I retired as of December 1st, 2020. I too was affected by the furlough, and I do recall that the Plain Dealer had an article indicating that the Cuyahoga Council did not agree with CEO Armand Budish's decision to do the furlough, to go ahead with the furlough, and you guys indicated that he was overstepping, and you thought he, we should wait. You guys should wait for other avenues to see if things will come through. Well, they didn't, and we were told that we needed to furlough. And although we may have left before the end of our furlough period, our last checks were affected. Not only were our last checks affected because you guys took back the remaining of our furlough, so our last check was reduced drastically. Not only that, our year-to-date earnings were lower than what it was expected, so that meant that our payroll check, that our pension checks are also reduced because our earnings were less. So we were affected. And now that, and we did it out of good faith because we were county employees and we understood the pandemic and how the citizens of Cuyahoga County were being affected. And we continue to service these our clients, our customers, the residents of Cuyahoga County. Because that was the pandemic last year and even this year, trying times for a lot of people. A lot of people are still out of work. And so we did the best that we could and to service the residents of Cuyahoga County. And as a result of that, our checks were reduced. And now that money has come into Cuyahoga County, the retirees should get their money, their furlough money back. There's no reason why the retirees are not eligible for that money. Out of good faith, we did it. You took our money even on our last check. The Cuyahoga County took our earnings, make sure that you guys received the whole 2-week period that was instilled in us, although we were not employed during that period of time. And a lot of, so I'm here to request a bonus that Cuyahoga County employees receive as a way to reimburse them for the furlough pay that that was instituted in 2020 as a cost-saving measure, that it would be issued to, that we receive the bonus to the retirees of Cuyahoga County that retired during the furlough period, that we too receive that money back, that bonus back. That's only fair, and we did our due diligence, and I think it's only appropriate for you, our county council, elected officials, that we vote for you, and it's only fair that you do what is right for the employees of Cuyahoga County that were affected by the furlough decision that was made. Thank you. Have a great day.
Akshay Singh.
Good evening, Councilman Miller, Councilwoman Conwell, good to see you again from our committee time doing transit work. My name is Akshay Singh. I'm a resident of Cleveland Heights, and I'm certainly disappointed to not have our county executive with us here tonight. But I've been a county resident for about 20 years. I think that's right. Grew up in Councilman Sean, your district, went to Solon, class of '05. And I am, glad that we believe that racism is a public health crisis. I'm curious what will invoke that on behalf of this county council. I don't know what it'll take. Would it take the mayor of Independence having a burning cross? What would it take for this council to say that what is being done in Independence, your district, Mr. Sean, is part of that crisis? That the eviction of over 50 men from a shelter, when we have, I don't know if you noticed, terrible air quality today from fires in the Northwest, and we shot off a billionaire into space. A guy we were gonna give $3.5 billion to put a headquarters here in Cleveland, which we knew was never coming, so we spent more on that plan alone than we were probably spending on relieving the homeless situation in Independence. So I just am really, really here to ask the question of what would it take for this issue to be recognized as part of the public health crisis of Cuyahoga County? I'm really curious, and I know this isn't a back and forth, so I'm just gonna let this sit for about a minute. What do you think it would take? What kind of racist actions would it take for the mayor of Independence to call up the county executive, get his way, and for y'all to pick up the phone, do one thing about it? Is it in the plan? Is it part of our congressional runs? I don't think so. And I'm really, really hoping that at some point we can treat the tenants of this county, regardless of their wealth demographic, as well as we do people with the last name of Gilbert and Dolan and Haslam, our campaign donors. And we know that the homeless aren't gonna vote us out of office when we got the County Board of Elections making sure that we're not gonna be able to verify anybody who's in transient situation for housing. We know that the people who are trying to register to vote or being moved around aren't gonna get to register to vote as easily as the residents who are, in permanent shelter with a lease or maybe a homeowner. So please consider that question. What would it take in terms of racism to really get this county to act on this situation? Thank you.
Lou?
Good evening, everybody. Nobody Lou is here. First, I would like to claim my support to the former county employees who couldn't get a fair pay. Well, because from nobody's point of view, if they don't get enough paid for them to retire, their future actually is in jeopardy because they're still alive. That doesn't mean the car will not break down. That does not mean they will not get a cancer. That does not mean that there's any other tragedy. Their house can be torn down by natural disasters too. So if they don't get their pay how will they be able to go through the troubles probably will be coming to them? If that happens, they will become homeless as well. If they become homeless, for their current situation, they do not know how to survive on the street. So they will come to the shelter, the so-called homeless shelter. Well, all the county council members, county executive, and all assistants, you have received my email yesterday. In the hell, the cleanest shower stall. That's because no shower curtains on it. You have to decide you want to use it or you let everybody see you cleaning yourself. From July, the so-called service provider, the owner of the building, changed the cleaning company. So we start getting mildew growing. And lots of people coming to the shelter today are already suffering all kinds of a horrible living condition to make them sick. That's why they lost their job, because they have to keep going to doctors constantly. That's why they became homeless to the shelter. Mildew also on the floor, the edge. Oh, don't forget, during the COVID-19, well, some people think homeless people are liars, but you guys know I didn't lie. I keep sending you information from our situation. They closed down the bathroom to do some kind of construction, but when they have a more problem to fix just within the month, look at how they put all the doors back. Now you lost one particular shower stall, but you also lost 2 bathrooms. You cannot really close them properly. So we don't have a clean shelter, safe shelter for people to stay. Why do we want to worry about Independence mayor, his own opinion? As a mayor, he should think about the best interest for people in Independence to have the business. Why reject a good contract, legally signed contract? Please, we have to ask Mr. Budish about it too. And I hope all of you will help us, because our system has been broken for decades. This is the reason why Mr. Strong saying, you have seen me coming here holding the microphone for how long?
Very long. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, that concludes the public comment for this meeting.
All right, this time, can I have a motion to approve our minutes from the July 6, 2021 regular meeting?
So moved.
Second, Brown.
Seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Legislation introduced by council. Committee report and consideration of a resolution of council for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2021-0152, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Council President, this was heard in the Human Resources Appointment, Equity, and Committee meeting on July 13th. There was 1 new addition, 12 revisions, and 8 deletions. These are typical and what I would call routine adjustments to our non-bargaining classification plan. So I respectfully request my colleagues' support.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it, the resolution is adopted. Legislation introduced by executive. Consideration of a resolution for first reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Not all those in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, the rules are now suspended.
At this time, the clerk's office is making a technical correction to Resolution 2021-0172 to include the word amending, which was inadvertently omitted. This technical correction will be notated on the legislation and does not require a vote. Resolution 2021, excuse me, I apologize. Resolution 2021-0169, the 2020-2021 biennial operating budget for 2021 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations, for appropriation transfers, and for cash transfers. Also, amending resolution number R 2021-0079, dated March 23rd, 2021, and resolution number 2021-0132, dated May 25th, 2021.
Move to adopt.
Second, Brown.
Mr. President, my colleagues, this resolution is the regular agenda of budget amendments. The answers to our questions to OBM have been circulated. Most items are routine. The most significant item is the appropriation of $967,146 for the expenses for this year for the Department of Equity and Inclusion. This expense primarily consists of two items, $445,046 for personnel expenses and $462,500 for a DEI consultant to conduct training sessions with county personnel. I recommend passage on first reading suspension.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Consideration of a resolution for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution 2021-0170, confirming the county executive's reappointment of various individuals to serve on the City of Cleveland, Cuyahoga County Workforce Development Board for the term July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2024. Pamela K. Jankowski, William E. Moore, Jason Schenk, Daniel O'Malley, David Merriman, Shauna Marbury, and Latoya M. Smith.
This item is referred to Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee.
Resolution 2021-0171, confirming the county executive's appointment of Paul Hurdig upon his taking the oath of office as Director of Development.
This item will be referred to the Committee of the Whole.
Resolution 2021-0172, making an award on requisition 6453 to Trimore Corporation in the amount not to exceed $11,873,953.35 for reconstruction and widening of existing roadway from West 130th Street to York Road in the cities of Parma and North Royalton. Authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0173, approving right-of-way exhibits as set forth in plat number M5047 for pier repairs on West 150th Street, bridge number 0194, over Chatfield Avenue, Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority, Norfolk Southern Railroad, and Emory Road Extension in the city of Cleveland.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0174, fixing the 2022 water, storm, and sanitary sewer maintenance and/or sewerage treatment rates for county sewer district numbers 1, 1A, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 13, 14, 18, 20, 21, 22, and 24.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0175, approving and confirming the 2022 water, storm, and sanitary sewer maintenance and/or sewerage treatment assessments for the various county sewer districts.
This item will be referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0176, authorizing a purchase and sale agreement with Castle Heating and Air, Inc. in the amount of $550,000 for the property located at 2000 through 2020 Lakeside Avenue in Cleveland.
This item will be referred to Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0177, making an award on requisition 6320 to Cold Harbor Building Company in the amount not to exceed $5,310,000 for hazardous material abatement, debris removal, building envelope mitigation, temporary electrical infrastructure, and security hardening of the old juvenile court complex.
This item will be referred to Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0178, authorizing a contract with Thales Dis USA, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $1,464,358 for hardware and software maintenance and support services for the automated fingerprint identification system for the period January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2025.
This item will be referred to the Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee.
Resolution 2021-0179, making awards on requisition 5074 to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $1,575,000 for emergency assistance services for the period September 1st, 2021 through August 31st, 2022.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee.
Resolution 2021-0180, authorizing amendments to contracts with various providers for the Propel Cuyahoga Workforce Services Program for the period July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $7,309,902.78 for the vendors listed A through B on the printed agenda.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee.
Resolution 2021-0181, authorizing a contract with Child Care Resource Center of Cuyahoga County, doing business as Starting Point, in the amount not to exceed $5,327,330 for management, administration, and implementation of various support services for the Universal Pre-Kindergarten Program. It's for the period August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2024.
This item will be referred to Education, Environment, and Sustainability Committee.
Resolution 2021-0182, making awards on requisition 4517 to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $27,703,997.03 for expansion of Universal Pre-Kindergarten Program services for the period August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2024 for the vendors A through Q as listed on the printed agenda.
This item also will be referred to the Education, Environment, and Sustainability Committee.
Resolution 2021-0183, making awards to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $2 million for permanent supportive housing services to chronically homeless single adults and high barrier homeless persons for the period July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022 for the various providers A through G as listed on the printed agenda.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee.
The next items, items 15 through 20 is under Council Rule 9C, and it allows for the reading of very similar items to be abbreviated titles. Therefore, the following items, again, 15 through 20, will be read into the record by their abbreviated titles, if there are no objections. Resolution 2021-0184, authorizing an amendment to contract number 561 with the Centers for Families and Children for the out-of-school youth program for comprehensive case management and employment program, employment education, and training services for young adults in connection with Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act for the period July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,150,000.
This item will be referred to Education, Environment, and Sustainability Committee.
Resolution 2021 0185, authorizing an amendment to contract number 649 with Cuyahoga Community College District Advanced Technology Academy for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,200,000.
This item will be referred to the Education, Environment, and Sustainability Committee.
Resolution 2021-0186, authorizing an amendment to contract number 620 with Towards Employment, Inc. for program activities for the additional funds in the amount not to exceed $700,000.
This item will be referred to Education, Environment, and Sustainability Committee.
Resolution 2021-0187, authorizing an amendment to contract number 627 with Youth Opportunities Unlimited for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $3,223,129.
This item is referred to Education, Environment, and Sustainability.
Resolution 2021-0188, authorizing an amendment to contract number 652 with Youth Opportunities Unlimited for operation of the Youth Resource Center for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $968,640.
Also referred to Education, Environment, and Sustainability.
Resolution 2021-0189, authorizing an amendment to contract number 488 with Ohio Guidestone for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $2,100,000.
And this last item is also referred to the Education, Environment, and Sustainability Committee. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading.
Resolution 2021-0163, approving right-of-way exhibits as set forth in plat number M5050 for replacement of Pleasant Valley Bridge number 09.68 over Cuyahoga River in the City of Independence and Village of Valley View.
This item will move to the August 3rd, 2021 Council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2021-0164, approving right-of-way exhibits as set forth in plat number M5049 for rehabilitation of Warrensville Center Road, bridge numbers 0592 East and 0592 West over Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority in the city of Shaker Heights.
This item will move to the August 3rd agenda for third reading adoption consideration.
Resolution 2021-0165, authorizing an amendment to contract number 700 with Schindler Elevator Corporation for elevator maintenance and repair services for various county facilities for the period September 1st, 2018 through August 31st, 2021, to extend the time period to August 31st, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,291,436.75.
This item will also move to the August 3rd Council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of suspending the rules say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution 2021-0162, confirming the county executive's reappointment of Reverend Corey Jenkins to serve on the Cuyahoga Community College Board of Trustees for the term June 23rd, 2021 through June 22nd, 2026.
Move to adopt. Thank you, Councilwoman. Council President, this item was heard in the Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee meeting. The Reverend demonstrated the interest and the ability to continue to serve in this capacity, so I respectfully request my colleagues' support.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2021-0166, authorizing an amendment to contract number 78 with United Labor Agency Incorporated for operation of the Workforce Service Center, Job Seekers and Employer Services, and management of the on-the-job training program for the period July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $5,776. I'm sorry, $5,776,780.40.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Thank you. This matter was heard in committee last Wednesday. And we are going again with United Labor Agency contract that's funded with federal WIA dollars. And the next contract period will, they will be going out for an RFP. So they operate the one-stop shop. So I ask for your support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, the resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2021-0167, making awards on requisition 2470 for a master contract with various providers in the total amount not to exceed $1 million for traditional residential treatment services for the period February 1st, 2021 through January 31st, 2023 for the vendors listed A through J on the printed agenda.
Move to adopt. Second. Mr. President, this was heard in committee last Tuesday, and these are services provided through the juvenile court at the request of the court. The committee recommends passage.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, the resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2021-0168, authorizing an amendment to a memorandum of understanding and agreement among Cuyahoga County, Say Yes Cleveland, formerly known as Say Yes to Education, Inc., Cleveland Metropolitan School District, and Breakthrough Public Schools for the Say Yes Cleveland Strategy Program for the period July 24th, 2019 through July 23rd, 2021, to extend the time period to July 23rd, 2022, to add Near West Intergenerational School, Horizon Science Academy, and College Now Greater Cleveland, Inc. as parties, and to change the terms to establish funding responsibilities during year 3 of the program, effective July 24th, 2021, accepting payments in the amount not to exceed $1,931,300 for Cleveland Metropolitan School District in the amount not to exceed $124,600 from Breakthrough Public Schools, in the amount not to exceed $31,150 from Near West Intergenerational Schools, and in the amount not to exceed $31,150 from Horizon Science Academy for said program. Also authorizing a payment in the amount not to exceed $6,052,000 to College Now Greater Cleveland, Inc. as fiscal agent of Say Yes Cleveland, and authorizing an amendment to the governance agreement as well.
Move to adopt.
Second, Brown.
Thank you, colleague Brown. This matter was heard in committee last Wednesday. This is the 25-year program of Say Yes to Education, and we learned about the evolution of the program. It's now called, as you heard, Say Yes Cleveland, making it more independent and local of the national organization and adding 2 schools, and the money is going for the family support specialists, and we will keep you posted on the progress of this. The first graduated in May, so from CSU last year.
Andrea, add my name to this resolution, please.
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. Who said mine too? Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. President, I'd also like to go on this one. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, my name is here as the committee assignment chair, but I would like my name as a sponsor.
Mr. President, me as well, Ernest Sweeney.
So let the record reflect that we have added Mr. Jones, Mr. Miller, Ms. Conwell, Ms. Simon, Mr. Sweeney, and Ms. Brown as sponsors,
Yes, if you could please add my name as well. Thank you. Sorry about that.
and Mr. Tuma.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right. Committee report and consideration of a resolution for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2021-0159, adopting the 2021 5-year Economic Development Plan in accordance with Section 7.5 of the Cuyahoga County Charter and Section 801.01 of the Cuyahoga County Code.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any
Mr.
discussion?
President?
Yes, Councilman Miller.
Mr. President, my colleagues, in a moment, I'm going to move a substitute, and the substitute does not substantively change the economic development plan, but I worked with the chairman and the administration to do two things. First, that it provides more detail on last year's accomplishments under the plan, and it also provides more detail about the projections for the next 1 to 2 years going forward. I think that kind of history and prospective vision is very helpful in this planning process. So with that, I'm going to move to substitute and ask for a second.
Oh, second.
I'm moved in second. Any discussion? Not. All those in favor of accepting the proposed substitute, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? May we now have a motion? All those in favor, I'll make the motion. All those in favor of accepting the proposed, I apologize here. We've accepted the substitute.
I'll make a motion to approve the substitute as amended.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Substitute has been approved, and it is now our operating piece of legislation. All those in favor of accepting the resolution as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, is there any further discussion on that? If not, just for clarity, all those in favor of adopting the resolution on its merits as substituted, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, thank you. We got through that. All right. Consideration of an ordinance for first reading and referral to committee.
Ordinance 2021-0012, authorizing the county executive, county sheriff, and director of human resources to provide certain benefits to employees in the classification of corrections officer, lieutenant within the sheriff's department.
This item will be referred to the Human Resources and Appointments and Equity Committee. Committee report and consideration of an ordinance for second reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
So move.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The rules are suspended.
Ordinance 2021-0011, amending Section 206.13 of the County Code, providing for appointment and staggered terms of the members of the Commission on Human Rights.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Thank you so much. This was heard in the Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee meeting. This legislation will do exactly as it states, establish staggered terms for the three members, one with a 1-year term, one with a 2-year term, and one with a 3-year term. So I respectfully request my colleagues' support.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. At this time, our miscellaneous committee reports. Council members, are there any committee reports?
Mr. Council President, go ahead, Councilman Miller.
Mr. President, my colleagues, Finance and Budgeting Committee will meet on Monday, August the 2nd. That's a week from Monday, not this coming Monday, at 1 p.m. With the focus on the long-term sustainability of county operations, Director Parfiowicz has new data to present to us. Thank you.
Council President, the Human Resource Appointment and Equity Committee meeting will meet on July 27th at its regularly scheduled time of 10 o'clock for the items referred.
Mr. President, HHS will meet on Wednesday, July 28th, I apologize, at 1 o'clock.
Mr. President, Public Works will meet on Wednesday, the 28th of July at its regularly scheduled time.
President, safety to 1 o'clock Tuesday, tentatively.
Mr. Chairman, the Community Development Advisory Committee will meet tomorrow, July 21st, to review issues related to appraisals in the core city and the inner ring suburban communities. Thank you.
Mr. President, Education, Environment, Sustainability, meeting at 3 o'clock on the 28th on Wednesday to hear all the items referred today.
Mr. President, can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
Cuyahoga County Committee of the Whole will meet on August 3rd. Has that time yet been set?
Not yet, Mr. President.
All right, we will keep you updated. All right. Any miscellaneous business?
Mr. President, I do have a...
Councilman Schron.
Yes. One of the things that we created was we created the sector partnership funding through this body. And I think that we can be proud of where it's gone, not just because I happen to have a touch in manufacturing, but there is an event that's going to take place on August 3rd that I think we can be very proud of. One of the target that they created as far as in the sector partnership was to give second chance individuals a chance to come into the manufacturing sector. So far, unfortunately, there was the pandemic, which slowed down the placement. But in this first 6 to 8 months, there have been 52 men placed within manufacturing sectors. Not one day of recidivism has taken place. Out of that, it's going to be celebrated on August 3rd down at the Cleveland Browns Stadium with a number of the individuals who have graduated from the Access program. And it's just going to be hopefully a way in which we can recognize that we've done some great things here in this county council. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes, Councilwoman.
You know, I normally don't respond to public comment and to that extent without learning about what the issues are in more detail, but I do want to state that I think it's important for us as a council to understand the contracts and meet with staff about what actually happened with the hotel. You know, and there's a contract between a hotel and a city, and I want to understand the county's role with regard to the contract. I don't think we're a party to it, but so that's all I want to say is I think it would behoove at least me as an individual council member to learn more, and I'd like to do that.
I hear you. Actually, as I listened, I was feeling the same way. We will hear more. Other comments?
Mr. President,
Yeah.
I was gonna, I didn't want to mess up what we always do and not back and forth. But I've been involved in all those dialogues and discussions, so I was gonna email HHS committee, but I will include you on an update of, I don't like to point fingers and who was wrong and who was, but in terms of the bathrooms, I'm aware of that as well as the hotel decision. And what happened in Independence, and I believe Jack.
Please include me in the email when you send it out.
Okay,
Thank
Jack
you.
was a party to a lot of those discussions and meetings because he was the representative. So we weren't in the dark here. We just didn't want to belabor it or answer back and mess up our regular. I look forward from me tonight.
All right. Well, we are back in person here, so public comment has played its role. So we will have those follow-ups. Is there any further comments? Any other miscellaneous business? If not, if nothing else holds our attention, this meeting is adjourned.